Alrighty. What is going on, Speed Gaming?
Morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are watching from. This is Game 3 of a best of 3 match for the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster Any Percent Tournament. Uh, our final competitors, Preucheu and CaptoftheDorks, have climbed the ranks to the finale here and are just about ready to get going. Rokeby and I will be joining you, commentating on this, and to look forward to some interesting strategies. And if you guys have any questions in the chat, go ahead and shout them out. We will be checking on that.
Oh yeah, you're like let's be perfectly honest. How they ended up getting to these finals being both 1-1, like you definitely did not have an easy time going throughout any of these brackets, as there were just really good players in either or. You can ask me, FF Steve, Captain, Preucheu, any runner that was here. You know, like it was an absolutely crazy fun time. But it's all coming down to this. This is for all the marbles, for the bragging rights.
Absolutely, and these are two of the top runners. I mean, we're looking at top 5 runners here, so the skills are there. We'll see if the RNG plays nicely, and we will hope for the best.
Yeah, and I know that this tournament as well has actually given a bunch of people new PVs.
You grind long enough, and things fall out of them. So it
Like
looks
I
like we've
think
started, and the competitors have both selected the traditional party of fighter, monk, and 2 black mages. Probably one of the more important choices of the game at this point, where you will see how each of these characters will contribute to this run.
yeah, and it just goes to show the amount of respect that they have for for another. I know we've seen some other um team comps come out here just from other runners to show that it's the double black mage route isn't necessarily the only route to go. It's the fastest for sure, but you can get it done with a thief, a red mage, a white mage, a double warrior composition.
Absolutely, and and it just goes to show you how much skill does play a part. Sometimes you think, oh, this game is full of RNG, and that's all that makes a difference. But in all honesty, these top players with any party can burn through this game. Just the speed of menuing, the know-how of what to pick up, where to go. And again, the most important part about this is decision making. There's just
Oh,
so many decisions that get made from start to finish that, and the speed at which they make those decisions are some of the most time-saving events.
oh, of course, of course. And honestly, I want to ask this question because I have received multiple different answers throughout this. What do you think's more important for EXP in the early game, the monk or the black mages?
Early game, I mean, gonna have to go with black mages. They're your they're your damage dealers up until the very end, of course.
No, of course. We all like seeing our monk punch hard.
All right, so the start to this game is fairly similar. It is a mad dash to go kill Garland, our first boss, and the beginning of this starts similarly for both characters to equip up your tank, that fighter up at the top of the party, and then get a couple of spells for your mages.
Yep. We do like the thunders. I've seen some people pick up the fire as well, and there is an argument for fire.
That'd be a bold move, Cotton. You're doing a lot of sailing on the ocean. I think where
Well,
I can see fire would be helpful somewhere later in the
you you
RuneScape,
you still
maybe.
get the thunders, but you also get the fires. It mainly
Oh,
comes from when you pick up Fyra in Alfheim, but I've seen
ah,
a couple of runners pick up the fires early game.
Gotcha. Okay, so both runners still neck and neck. They've unequipped their monk as his damage dealing is very sufficient with or without, or actually more efficient without equipment. So he gets stripped of that early and before any encounters actually take place.
Yeah, the longer you keep it on the monk, it's just gonna hurt. You're gonna look at it and just be like, where's my massive amounts of damage? Or you forget, and then you get in your first battle, and now you have issues.
Exactly. So looks like Preucheu is the first one to get to Garland. He had an easier battle on the way up here. The goal here really is to just cast your Thundercasts and hope that Garland does not kill one of your characters, especially the mages. And Preucheu vanquishes Garland pretty quickly, and Captain right
at
behind him.
350 and Captain at 359. So this is going to be a very, very, very close race. I hope that you all are super excited for this. I cannot wait to see what the end game brings.
Oh, chat poking in. Fire can one-shot the Gygus worms on the walk to Pravoka. That is something I didn't know. I can see where that would be helpful, because those buggers, I just hope I don't run into them. Not those things are just not worth it.
No, especially when they come with a troll, and then you get two of them as well.
Absolutely, you end up seeing three. As badly as you want to see an ogre on that walk to Pravoka, they always seem to be accompanied by three of those terrible Gygus worms. So both characters grabbing the loot, an item they'll need way at the end of the game, and then they'll rest up for that trip to Pravoka. Again, this is a very important part of the trip, solely because you don't want to die. It's expensive to revive. And secondly, this is where you're going to start building the cash reserves and the experience you need to get to the level you want.
Yeah, experience is going to be very tight on this run, and money's going to be even tighter up to a point.
And that's pretty much what most of the beginning half of this game is getting yourself to a minimum level that is acceptable to beat the bosses you're going to be encountering, and then also getting just enough money to buy the spells you need and to get enough items to survive the following dungeon. It isn't until later where money becomes less of an issue and levels become less of an issue. Early on,
you say levels become less of an issue. They're always an issue. Chaos will make them an issue.
Oh, chaos will make issues regardless of what level you're at. But ideally here in the early game, as they're leaving Cornelia, crossing the bridge, which the king built for you since you saved his daughter, the princess, what these guys are hoping to get is up to level 4. 4 is a nice comfortable level to be at when you get to Pravoka, the next town. Level 3 is certainly acceptable. Yeah, it did look like Preucheu had a little bit of a lag there.
I think it was more of a controller issue. I saw it kind of switch between keyboard and mouse and a gamepad, like Xbox controller or whatever. You could kind of look in the little right-hand corner for him.
Gotcha. Yeah, he may have had to reseat his USB, but we're still neck and neck. This is still gonna be very tight. The first two races, if you were able to tune into them, were both neck and neck the entire duration. I think the second match that Captain came out on top had 5 or 6 lead changes in the second half of the game. It was incredible. So hoping for another exciting match like that. Like I said, these guys are going to be traversing through this forest here on the way to Pravoka, looking for something easy to beat, taking as little damage as possible, hopefully not dying. The ideal situation would be an ogre with a preemptive strike. That'd be huge. The ogres are probably the best thing you can run into here. And then, trying not to get large things you have to run away from.
I mean, like you said before, Gygus worms. They're a nightmare unless you have fire.
Exactly. Yeah, the Gygus worms, they're just not worth the experience and the gold. They just tend to tag along with those ogres. Is the is the problem. You have to take the good with the bad on this one. So Captain's first fight, a couple of goblins, nice and easy. Don't use any spells to vanquish them. Try and get some high damage rolls on your mages and get through them quickly.
And the goblin stood there, looked menacing, and you just said no. Meanwhile, we got some goblin guards on Preucheu's side.
Yep, Preucheu choosing to run away from that battle at the expense of a little bit of experience. These Gygus worms, if you are familiar with the NES version, they're called the creeps, and that is why we hate them.
And both of them getting double Gygus.
Captain losing a black mage on that one, and now running into a party of 9 enemies, none of which are worth the damage to experience ratio.
Parties of 9 just in the game overall are just not very beneficial until you get your AoE spells.
Absolutely. So Captain's going to have to spend money on that revive, as well as buy Temper here, which is a spell that is heavily used in the back half of the game, and hopefully have enough money left over. Ooh, did he have enough money to stay at the inn?
The cost...
Just barely. Barely.
The cost of reviving the first 2 towns aren't necessarily the worst. So
Preucheu going YOLO on us. He is skipping the inn rest, and he is going straight to the pirates to take the lead ahead of Captain. Let's see how turn order unfolds here in this battle.
You got to do what you got to do to win this race, and YOLO strats can definitely make you win the race. So I've also seen throughout this tournament that the temper pickup here earlier is actually a lot more used than not. I know that usually I don't try to pick up tempers here, instead like make one big shopping trip, but it definitely does save you time in the long run.
Yeah, I think that the traditional route definitely picks up the tempers here. Again, when you're running this not in a race, you have the leeway to just hit reset if things don't go your way in the first 10 minutes. But this is a no reset run, and these guys are now both wrapping up the pirates battle. They obtained the ship, and I believe Preucheu took a death, and Captain did not. So another lead change, leaving Preucheu.
Yeah, there was a lead change within the pirate fight itself, which is
the RNG turn order can make all the difference.
2 lead changes in Preucheu. That's crazy. But meanwhile,
the next step of this, of course, is traversing the lake or the ocean here. What we're looking for are high value targets. So what we want is money here, not so much experience, but money, because we have a spell, Thundara, the first AoE spell coming up in Elfheim, the next town, and it is 1,000 gil. You definitely need to save your cash, get good fights, to purchase that, as well as items for the Marsh Cave after that. Preucheu taking his death in his first battle on the water. That is no good, but he is pushing forward. We'll see where he goes next to revive. Captain losing his monk, a little critical as he does a lot of damage.
That is true, and the monk is kind of your late game. So if he stays, looking at the ground for too long, it's gonna definitely hurt the monk's levels, at least beginning. And we're seeing why sharks are just the terror of the seas here on Captain's side.
Yep, ideally I think you definitely want your mages to stay alive, because you do want some experience on them. You don't want to lose too much experience on them before you get to the Earth Cave later on. Captain taking a stop at Cornelia to revive, the cheapest place to revive, and Preucheu is going to do the exact same thing.
I mean, when you had, for Preucheu, when you had your warrior go down, one of your black mages go down, that's your main tank down first of all, and one of your early game damage dealers. I don't like seeing that at all. I'd rather have my tank up at this point.
But they're all revived. They both spent a ton of money reviving and resting here. So they're going to go back to it, trying to get the cash they need, not just for the spells, but again for the items for the first marsh cave. The marsh cave, you need a handful of antidotes to make sure that you can revive from poison, because some things will do that, and then of course the potions you'll need to stay alive. Ooh, Preucheu getting a set of $5.
That's what we want to see.
That battle comes with 600 gil, which is huge. Although Preucheu takes a death while doing it, that will cost him. Still, plenty of gold. Gold is key right now, and that's regardless of the death. It's what he wants. It looks like both characters are choosing to do a little grind outside of Cornelia here. It's the safe way to grind, because the cheap revives and the cheap ends are in this town. So you can do a little bit of a grind and safely stay on track here.
Yeah, and not to mention, you still have your chance of running in the Buccaneers. You're also not really risking many overworld encounters, considering the port's like 2 steps away.
Exactly. So we'll see who will be the first to leave their grind. It looks like Captain is making the journey south to Elfheim, and so is Preucheu, right behind his tail.
Yeah,
literally seconds apart as Preucheu runs into a big party of Sahagins, and Captain has that dangerous battle with the sharks.
Well, the sharks not proving to be too much of an issue, but those Sahagin chiefs can do a little bit of damage if they target incorrectly here. And
speaking of doing damage, that Preucheu's mage, the second black mage, has just been dying so much. His HP is still 27, and that's going to be a huge problem. Every time he takes a hit, he does not get the experience, he does not get the levels. He is going to be lagging severely. Hopefully he can rectify that through the run.
Yeah, this is what you did. You would have reset this by now, of course. Preucheu, especially going for world records.
And not just that, but the funny thing is the opposite of that. The Black Mage 1 is absolutely beefy. His other Black Mage is at 128 HP. So they are the polar opposites of one another at this point.
His first Black Mage took the vitamins for the second one. It's fine.
So, like I said, they're here buying Thundara. It's a huge AoE spell that will be used for the first half of this run to vanquish groups of enemies. We'll see Captain looks like he is going to do a little bit more grinding to get some safety cash. The last thing you want to do is run out of items on your way to Marsh Cave. So a little bit of safety cash is great. If you could pick up a tent, I know if I have the extra cash, I love to pick up a tent.
You could pick up a tent, or you could pick up a couple more antidotes, as well as there's a lot of things in Marsh Cave that like to kind of poison you, and nobody likes to see the poisons. It is kind of the first major roadblock for this run, and it's where, if you're not set up correctly or you don't feel comfortable with the amount of items you have, you will just kind of fail. As harsh as it is to say that, I've had many a run die to Marsh Cave.
Absolutely, because usually when you're running for speed, when you get here, you just kind of go with whatever cash you got. If you have enough to buy 6 antidotes, you buy 6. If you have enough to buy 3, you buy 3. You just got to go with what you get and try to get out of Elfheim at a decent click. So it looks like Captain's got nearly a 1,000 gil. He's buying himself a handful of antidotes and potions. And then he's going to take off to Marsh Cave. And Preucheu is right on his tail doing the exact same thing. We'll see what he's able to afford. He's got slightly less cash, closer to about 800 gil. He's probably just going to take a few less potions and a few less antidotes and just roll with it.
Yeah. But let's be perfectly honest. If Preucheu and Captain have 3 antidotes and they go in there, they're okay with that. If they had 6, they're on cloud 9.
Exactly. It looks like... Okay, there we go. Captain's back up. Looked like he had a we had a pause and
Had a little bit of a hiccup
the
there.
feed. Yep. Nope. We're back. So they're both now that they have their items, they are traversing the western front there to get to the Marsh Cave, the first big hurdle of this game.
We will see what they decide to do. They each did pick up a tent, so they could either use the tent going into Marsh Cave, or use it going on the way to Astos.
So Preucheu actually leapfrogged Captain for just a moment there, but Captain did not get that last encounter going into the Marsh Cave. Also, Preucheu took that battle and took a tent to rest up before going in. We'll see if that pays off.
Oh, you definitely have more. You want as much HP going into Marsh Cave as possible, because it is, you know, the first major dungeon of this, and you're gonna get into a boss fight, if you want to call it that here. That's gonna be a little more difficult than what you bargained for if you're not prepared. And even if you are.
All right, so a race in the Marsh Cave. So typically you see a whole lot of running from these enemies. They tend to do a good bit of damage. On their way, they'll pick up a couple of treasures, only the essential treasures, which is key to any speed run, picking up only what you need, no more, no less. And one of those things is the first Phoenix Down in the first treasure, and then a cottage, which is definitely worth selling for a ton of gil. And then they'll traverse down to the first big battle, boss battle, or sorry, the first battle of the that poses a significant challenge. We'll call it that. These Pisco demons can inflict insane amounts of damage. We'll see if anybody gets lucky enough for a preempt. Otherwise, you just try to survive it and get the hits in where you can.
Yeah, you're looking at the Pisco demons, and you're staring down the barrel of a gun to put it in perspective. Those things hit hard. And fast.
Yeah, so it looks like Preucheu got to the wizards first. I'm actually keeping count. That is the 5th lead change. That is the 5th lead change, and we'll see how this works out if we can survive it.
Okay. Oh, the monk goes down for Preucheu.
Yeah, Preucheu definitely took a little bit of time to level that second black mage. He does take a loss on the monk, but at this point it's actually okay. He does have that Phoenix Down from the treasure that he can use to revive.
Yep. So not actually that bad of a Pythos fight for Preucheu. Captain's warrior goes down on his side, and overall both having a pretty solid Pythos. I'm kind of jealous of that.
And you know what? Captain's fighter going down is probably not the most terrible thing in the whole world. It is a strategy that's often used by speedrunners to advance the experience on their other characters. Because while that fighter is face down, the experience points are now distributed amongst the 3 characters instead of 4. So every battle, his remaining characters are now getting more experience than if all 4 were alive. So oftentimes this does get used as a strategy if it happens by a speedrunner, just to get more levels prior to their fights in the Earth Cave. In the Earth Cave, of course, you want to get to level 12 for the vampire and level 15 for Lich, and this is a strategy for getting there faster.
And as you can see, Captain is taking full advantage of that.
And another thing you noticed, he put his fighter in the second slot. That's another strategy. Again, this game does have some mechanics that are used and abused by speedrunners. One of those being the targeting mechanic. So the character in the top slot is when it's a single character attack by an enemy. The top character is targeted 50% of the time, the second character 25, and the last two slots are targeted 12.5%. So the mages are kept down low in the party in the third and fourth slots just to save them the damage. And then the top slots, again, go to your tanks. So when Captain puts his new tank, which is his monk now, in that top slot, he will be targeted far more, saving the damage on his lower HP mages.
Yep. I think it distributes out that 25% chance among the whole entire party, so the black mages have a little more of a chance of getting hit, but I don't necessarily know the math on that.
Yeah, it does get re-rolled and redistributed, so that top slot will be more than 50%, and those bottom two slots will be slightly more than 12.5. Still, the goal here is to take that damage off of the monks.
Yep, or the mages.
Or the mages, sorry, the mages, correct.
We get you though.
Preucheu had another controller input issue, but he is still the first to get to Astos. Astos is another battle.
Yep.
Another battle that can absolutely take you out of this. Astos has the chance of casting magic spells, some of that AoE attack, that will wipe your party if he does it twice. We'll see how nice Astos is to Preucheu.
He also has slow. So there are actually two major strategies that you can pull off here. You can do what Preucheu's doing and basically temper up your warrior, temper up your monk, and go have fun, which the weakness is what you just saw is slow, because now they're not getting those multi-hits. Or you can decide just to blast spells at Astos until he falls over with your mages.
And it looks like and that's another thing on Preucheu's side, he can cast instant death. It looks like they're getting the same battle here. They both got a Fira, they both got slowed, they're both getting death on the fighter, and Preucheu able to survive this one on the first try. Captain unfortunately getting slain.
So much death.
That spell.
So much death.
We'll see if that black mage can finish him off.
Even if the black mage finishes it off, right? Do you continue?
If you have, I would say if you have the Phoenix down and enough potions, you may be able to pull it off. But in this case, Astos goes ahead and cuts him loose, just to end it nicely for him.
He didn't end it nicely. He played with his food. Let's be honest.
Yep. And Preucheu, like I said, he has that travel back to Elfheim. We'll see if he revives that fighter or not. Again, this is an opportunity where he can get a little bit more experience on those mages for the next part of this game.
Of course, and welcome everybody from SpeedGaming. You're watching the third race in a best of 3 versus Preucheu and CaptoftheDorks for the bragging rights of the best Final Fantasy speedrunner.
And Astos goes down on Captain's side. And on a positive note, did not lose any characters. So he gets to save a trip to revive. Again, reviving in Elfheim is expensive. And getting as much gold stored up here as you can is essential. Preucheu going to get a few more items. Looks like he was maybe running low. I thought he might have been trying to get an early haste, which is another strategy. If you buy haste early here in Elfheim, it can save you a good 20, 30, maybe even 40 seconds. And it looks like that's what Preucheu's going to do.
The question is, will he do the Luke strat of only buying one? Because you only need one haste. You can only haste one time.
It's all you can afford at this point. So if you're going to take the risk right now to buy it, which Preucheu did, you can only buy one. You can only afford one. He did take it. He's going to be at the mercy of the fiends in the future, whether or not that one monk holding the haste spell survives.
Fair enough. And we did see that the black mage went down for Captain. So his spot at Elfheim of not trying to revive, he had to. That poor mage, that poor second black mage.
All right, so now they're both they both vanquished Astos. They obtain the Crystal Eye. They're going to take this Crystal Eye all the way back up to the character that we skipped at the beginning of the game, Matoya, who we in a casual run we would have met already. Where they're going to give her the Crystal Eye so she can see. They're going to steal the blind woman's treasures, which consist of a potion and an antidote, and then
She's
they're
not
going
blind.
to.
She has a crystal eye now.
Oh, she does. So we'll see if they steal before or after they give her sight. That's fair. But yep. So they're going to get up here. They're going to get the Jolt Tonic. So this is the phase of the game which is kind of fetch questy, where they're going to go back and forth getting some items from Matoya. They get the Jolt Tonic, which they'll use to wake the prince, and then the prince will of course give them access to all the treasures of the land. One of which being dynamite, and that dynamite will be used to escape from this little portion of the world map that we have access to now, and open up the rest of the game.
Yep, and then we can just look at Preucheu for a second. He's like, I am lawful good. I do not steal. I do not steal from old witches in caves.
That's noble. I hope he has enough potions for that to pay off.
He did do a little bit of item buying when he bought that haste. So he's most likely fine.
All right, so Preucheu heading back down. Captain, of course, stealing from the witch.
But if you're taking it when she can see, is she just not giving it to you at that point?
It's the continual question throughout this game of, are we the baddies?
No.
All right, so Preucheu
No, we're just adventurers in the first D&D campaign.
All right, so Preucheu skipping Elfheim on the way back. Does not need to heal, does not need to stay at the inn or buy haste. He's already done it. And he is getting that key. So with that key, he is going to loot a number of treasures for the sole purpose of selling it for cash. The next big adventure after this one is a journey over to Melmond and the Earth Cave, and there is no item shop over there. So everything they buy on their way out of Cornelia here will have to last them through Melmond, through the Earth Cave, twice. You have to take 2 dives into the Earth Cave, and you have to have enough items to sustain the entire trip.
Yeah, make sure you buy your Phoenix Downs for that, kids. Not that there would be anybody in here that would know what would happen if you ever run out of Phoenix Downs and have to go all the way back to Cornelia in order to revive your party.
That sounds personal. I
don't know what you're talking about.
I think every runner has experienced forgetting a piece of this fetch quest. I have forgotten to pick up the key. I've forgotten to pick up the Jolt Tonic. I feel like I've forgotten at least once every piece of this fetch quest, and then you just get to the next piece and you're completely stonewalled from advancing, ending the run. But all these guys seem to be getting everything they need. Captain looting Elfheim.
Preucheu going right over to Cornelia and saying, I'm going to get all of this treasure.
Absolutely. And then the very unsafely stored box of nitro powder, known as TNT in the original NES, stored against all OSHA standards in a locked room in a treasure chest.
Maybe we are the first OSHA people. We noticed that the dynamite was in there and we had to take it out and move it to a safe location.
I want to know what else is in that room. Anything else flammable that we can go ahead and.
I mean, we had a cottage tent.
That's kindling is all it is. Preucheu taking advantage of being in Cornelia in the cheap revive town. So he went ahead and revived his fighter for the trip west, and he's picking up a couple of very interesting things. He's again going to sell all the treasures he picked up, and he's going to pick up some Phoenix Downs. He's going to pick up a bunch of ethers, a bunch of potions, probably a couple of gold needles as well, before he takes off. So the ethers, the way they work in this game, I think you've noticed that the black mages have a set number of spell charges for each level of magic spell, from 1 to 8. The ether potion replenishes 1 spell charge per level. So you're going to see a lot of strategy with these players as they go through the Earth Cave on how they're going to conserve and spend this magic and use those ethers in such a way that it doesn't waste any of their spell charges.
Yeah, you're gonna. Spell charges are definitely a thing that you try to keep count of the entire time you use them.
Yeah, it's so yeah. The next part of this is definitely the name of the game is conservation of items. Like I said, you can't go back and buy more. So what they're going to do is they're going to ration these things in a way that they select only the battles they want to take to ration the items they have, while at the same time gaining just enough levels that they need to advance to the next portion of the game. So Preucheu, moving along through the dwarf cave, their little friend there is going to blow a hole in the canal, or to make the canal, and then we're going to traverse through it, heading west to Melmond.
Of course, and 2 things. 1, thank you, SpeedGaming Douche, for rating us. And we are so happy to have you here. And welcome to the 3rd game of Preucheu versus CaptoftheDorks, where this one's for all the marbles. You know, be sure to put, if you're, a betting person, put some money down on who you think's gonna win.
Absolutely, and still plenty of game left. We haven't even gotten to a fiend yet. The fiends hold the keys for who's going to advance and who's not going to advance.
Yeah, and let's be honest here. How many league changes have we had? And this is before we've even gotten to Lich.
I have 5 lead changes all the way up to Wizards, and then Preucheu has really just been ahead by a matter of seconds since then.
Jeez.
We got chat. Chat says, all my money is on Chaos, and we know that's the truth. He is the casino dealer.
The house will lose by the end of this, though. It has to.
If time is money, Chaos can make a whole lot of it.
Chaos just prints money. It's fine.
Okay, so Captain here doing the same thing you just saw Preucheu do. They're blowing a hole to make the canal. Preucheu is now traveling back to his ship to drive through that canal, and then they will make a short stop in that town, which has been ravaged by the vampire, the resident vampire of the Earth Cave, and they're going to sell those items he just picked up, so they have just enough money to buy another AoE spell, Firaga. Now, at this point, they don't have the capability of even using that spell. Once you get to your mages to level 12, you will get a single cast of that spell, which is why that is the goal level prior to running into the vampires that you want to reach, so you can cast that Firaga spell on them.
Yep. It takes 2 Firagas, and he's kind of paper to those. But as a question, or 2 questions. 1, we went into the dwarf cave. Which one of the 7 dwarves was that? Like, let's be real, they were working. Which one of the 7 dwarves from Snow White really likes TNT? I gotta know.
I'm guessing there were 8 dwarves. The 8th one being Pyro. And this took place before Snow White. There was a terrible accident in the dwarf cave, and they went from 8 to 7. Is that a little morbid? I'm sorry.
and 2, what is the vampire's name? Because this, like, we can tell that, the Final Fantasy has heavy inspiration, at least for monster-wise, from, you can look at the D&D compendium and all of that, because it's all fantasy. What's the vampire's name?
Ooh, I'm gonna leave that up to chat. We'll see. We'll see who in chat can come up with the best name for the vampire. And what we've seen is Preucheu is already down into the Earth Cave. The Earth Cave has a number of floors, 5 to be exact. You dive 3 floors in to get to that vampire the first time, and then you have to run back out and dive 5 in to get to the fiend, because in your way is a stone wall that you cannot get past, and you need help from a sage to give you a apparatus to break through that blockage.
I like some of these names for the vampire, though. We've got Nosferatu, Sir Hooverville, Alucard, and Fangzy.
And we have...
and wait. I'm going to try to pronounce this one because it's backwards. Uripmav?
These are outstanding. I like them all. I'm partial to Sir Hooverville, to be honest.
Christopher B. I'm enjoying these names. They're too good. They're too good. But we can just see like how Firaga is just so helpful in Earth Cave right now. 3 ghosts, 180 a pop. Like, and here we go. We have the jerk birds. They weren't jerks.
Birds.
Apparently, I've taken like all the bad luck for cockatrices this entire thing.
So, yeah, let's take a quick have a quick discussion on the mechanic here. So, the cockatrices are what we call jerk birds in this game, and what we want them to do is petrify us, but petrify just 2 specific characters, the monk and the fighter. And the reason for that is that when you are in a petrified status, you can still take enemy targets. So they can still be targeted, they can still be attacked, but they don't lose any hit points. So they essentially become invincible at this point. And again, when you put them in the first and the second slot, at this point, they're taking 75% of your direct attacks. The other benefit of being petrified in this game is that you can still gain experience points. So there's no good reason not to be petrified if all they're going to be is human shields. And so from this point on, for a majority of the game, you're going to see that these mages will just start spamming AoE attacks while the other 2 characters take damage. Ideally, this is the place to do it. Ideally, you want to get it done fast before you get out of the Earth Cave to help you conserve items, of course. But Preucheu was able to get it done quick and done early, so that's really good on his side. Captain's still searching for those jerk birds, which only appear on the 3rd level of this cave. So hopefully he runs into a couple of those.
And here we are with Sir Hooverville, Alucard, Fangzy, Mav, Kirby, Christopher B, Nosferatu.
Unfortunately,
how many times can you say that name before he dies?
Exactly, but he did take down one of the black mages, which you hate to see. He does have that capability of taking a swing, a really hard right hook to one of your mages. Again, 12.5% chance of that happening, and it always seems to happen when you don't want it to.
That's that 12%, that 12.5% chance will always just never be in your favor when you need it to be. And meanwhile, Preucheu apparently is just a magnet to the birds because he's gotten 2 of them. We only need him once.
And Captain finishing off that vampire quickly. So he is, like we said, right on the tail of Preucheu. They both wrapped up that vampire at around that 42-minute mark. And now it's a race to get out of the Earth Cave. Like I said, there's a blockage over the next staircase, and they need to exit and run over west of here, taking that ruby that they just picked up to feed to a giant stone golem that is in the way.
Yeah, you know, for Chaos, he's really bad at planning these things. Like, don't get me wrong, placing the stone golem who only eats rubies in the way of what you're trying to get to is great. Just in case, like, oh geez, they defeated this vampire, you know. But you also put the ruby right behind the vampire.
You know, I'm convinced that it was the sage that put the golem there as a security measure. I want to say that was an optional security feature from ADT, was giant stone golem.
You've got like your invisible fence, your silent alarm, stone golem that only eats rubies.
Exactly.
Guard dog.
So again, the folks here, both Preucheu and Captain here, are being very selective in the battles they are taking. They both reached level 12 before getting to the vampire. Like I said, was the magic number to have enough spell casts of Firaga to vanquish the vampire. The next level goal is 15. Getting to level 15 prior to the fiend at the bottom of this cave will give you 3 casts of Thundaga for each mage, which is just the magic number you need to defeat him. So these guys, while trying to conserve their ether potions, conserve their health potions, trying to take only the necessary battles to get their characters to level 15.
Yep, we say that it will take 3 for Lich, but it all depends. And you do see one of the drawbacks of having half your party stoned here, with the gargoyles of just, if they target down the mages and kill the mages, your party's dead. But speaking of the party, I just kind of imagine, because at this point, we're keeping the warrior stoned for the rest of the run. There's no way that warrior is going to move ever again. So what ended up happening is the warrior just got sick of the party, said, I'm out of here, and the black mages had to hastily make a cardboard cutout of it.
Look at this. The death on Preucheu's side has made them, they were absolutely neck and neck, leaving that cave and taking a tent and iteming. They were neck and neck. Captain getting the first encounter to of course, put him behind again. But his encounter was the Lesser Tiger. That is exactly what we're looking for. The Lesser Tigers have a small percentage chance that they drop a X potion, which is a full heal potion. If he can get, either of these characters, either of these runners can get an X pot to drop, then they can skip a little journey out of the way later, saving them some time picking up another X pot in another location.
Yeah, I think you mainly skip the one in the Dragon Slayer, don't you?
Correct.
If you're going to, I forget where the technical third one is.
Well, there are 2 of them. There are 2 of them in the Dragon Isles. There's one in the forested island, and then there's another one just west of it in the marsh-covered island. And then you get your third one in the Temple of Fiends.
Yeah, Temple of Fiends. Okay, so they're both in Dragons.
Yeah, they're both in there, but you can skip one should you get a Lesser Tiger drop here. And again, that saves 10, 20 seconds. And when these runners are neck and neck like this, a matter of 20 seconds can mean all the difference.
Yep. That is so true. So very true, and I'm super excited to see where this goes. Like, let's be honest, we're probably about halfway through this run at this point. Not necessarily halfway, because you'd still need 30 minutes, but like, I don't know, maybe like another 45 will probably be at Chaos roughly, maybe. Like getting to it maybe on like Marilith 2.
They are certainly cruising. So like I said, time is going to matter. I can't remember. I don't believe
Well, that's an
Captain
hour.
picked up his haste just yet. He'll probably have to go back for that.
And if Preucheu wants, his second haste, but it will depend.
And also, Captain still unfortunately has not run into any jerkbirds yet. So, on his way back in through the Earth Cave, when he gets to floor 3, he is going to be searching for those jerkbirds. There is still a chance that he can find them on the 4th floor, but we'll see what he can do. Hopefully, he finds them quickly, and those jerkbirds behave.
Yeah, you can also just tell the amount. Just tell the difference of just not getting the jerkbirds right before Vampire, right? Because this time difference between Preucheu and Captain of the Dorks, while there have been some battles here and there, mainly comes down to I have 4 characters I have to menu through, and it doesn't take that long to menu, but when you're in those battles...
He got the X-Spot drop. He got it.
All right. This changes things. They might actually be on even pace.
They might be on even pace now, because now Captain can skip one of those X-Pots, but he still has to go back and get that haste drop. So this is kind of incredible. We'll see how this plays out. Awesome, super lucky to witness. We'll see how that plays out later. But what I was going to say was one of the things that Captain has to really manage are his potions, because not only does he have to menu through 2 extra characters not being petrified, but he also has to heal them.
Yep. Meanwhile, Preucheu's just getting more birds.
Oh no! And he took a petrify. Let's see if he has enough gold needles to cover it. He gets a drop, so he's okay.
Yeah, the good thing about the birds is that they do run the gold needle drops, and they drop somewhat frequently. So I'm jealous of Preucheu. Let it be. Wow, I'm jealous of Preucheu. I just want that to be known. He's gotten so many bird encounters, I can hardly get one to run.
Not just bird encounters, but look, he's running into mummies as well. Mummies are a great battle for a number of reasons. They're great for experience, great for gold, and they take 1 spell to vanquish. That is some of the things that you really want to look for in this run. Another set of 4 mummies, my goodness. You're really trying to selectively take battles that you can finish in one turn.
Yep. And
that is all
I'm just gonna shove that encounter aside. That encounter does not exist. Be known on SpeedGaming 2 on a 221 at January 29th, 221 East Coast time. It was stated that Roku is extremely jealous of Preucheu's birds.
That's incredible that all he ran into were jerkbirds and mummies. You cannot ask for a better floor 3, to be completely honest. While Captain the Dorks getting quite the opposite, getting a whole bunch of Pisco demons.
We do not, even at this point, Pisco demons still hurt if they hit the wrong thing, and he finally got his cockatrice encounter.
Finally, let's see if he can get petrified quickly.
Am I correct in stating that as you level up, you actually gain resistance to, status ailments? There we go. That's the words.
I'm not sure about that one, but
oh no,
Captain's in a tough spot. He finally got his jerkbirds, and they showed you exactly why they're called jerkbirds. He needs that monk to be petrified.
Yeah, and let's be honest here. There is a world where this cockatrice can run away. But we're fine. We're fine. That was a lot of patience. And I'm pretty sure look, being in Captain of the Dork's shoes, I would have looked at those cockatrices and I've been a little perturbed at what was going on there. Waited so long to find them.
They're both back on track. Preucheu is already on floor 5. Taking a quick look at his levels. Is he on level 15? Yes, he is. So he should have sufficient Fyragacasts to take care of this boss. Again, the magic number is 6. So as we get to Lich here, we are going to count down those Fyragacasts before Lich does something crazy like AoE spell attack us to death.
Oh, so we need to get through 2 turns.
Yeah, so Lich does have the capability to cast all of the Aura level spells. Some of them doing more damage than others. If we see a Blizzara, that's probably the worst thing he could cast.
Yep. Here, well, we got a good attack there. Just a regular attack on a monk. Let's see. That one's... Sadly, we do not have a 30+ mage for Preucheu. Sadly. And here's Captain of the Dorks, more birds.
Go, Preucheu wrapping up that boss with one last cast of Thundara to put him over the top. Preucheu is the first one through the first Fiend.
At a sub 1 hour Lich, sub 55-minute Lich, actually. That was really close to just 54 flat. And honestly, that Lich was relatively nice. It was a relatively nice Lich.
Yep, for a no reset run, 54 is not a terrible time to have. I know if you're really looking for a low 150-ish time on the whole run, you definitely want that sub 50 Lich or that 50-minute Lich.
Yep.
But Captain right on his tail. He is coming around the bend on that 5th floor with Lich just around the corner. Now that Preucheu is out of the Earth Cave, the next thing he's going to do is jump back into that ship and sail around the globe to the Crescent Island area. We will see if there's an option here to jump into Melmond to buy a couple of silver armlets, but it looks like Preucheu is going to go ahead and pass on that and maybe pick up some defense later.
Yeah, you can pick up the silver armlets later. Honestly, if you're, trying to run this a little bit safer, or you're newer to the run, you want to pick up those silver armlets. Take it from a person who's tried to not pick up silver armlets before and regretted that decision once he got into Ice Cave.
Yep. So once he sails his way around the map, Crescent Lake here on the east side of this map is home to the next level of spells, which is Thundaga. Thundaga is a pricey 13,000 gil per spellcast, so to buy that for his mages, he needs to conserve 26,000 gil. It looks like he's doing all right there. But in addition to buying those 2 spells for 26,000 gil, he's got to stock up on items for his next cave adventure.
Yes, and this item buy, I would say, is not as important as the one for Earth Cave, because the item buy from Cornelia to Crescent Lake is a much longer stretch, and you're just at a much lower level and just don't have as many resources as you do leaving Crescent Lake, going to Waterfall Cave and Ice Cave and all that fun stuff.
And Captain taking a Lich death, which is unfortunate. He really needs Lich to go down here.
Was that a second Lich death? I saw him die once. But you're seeing why Lich can be not fun. But we did see that his third mage hit for 270. So he is roughly at that 30 int mark for that first black mage. So Captain can have a little bit of solace in that.
All right, so Preucheu, now that he's done his shopping, he's got his items, he's got his spells. The next thing he does is wanders over there to that circle of old men in the forest, totally legit in Final Fantasy, and then goes and speaks to the exact one he needs to get a canoe. And that canoe allows him to traverse those smaller streams and rivers. So he's going to jump back into his ship and jump up to the canal that takes him up to the ice cave. And you might be saying, if you are familiar with the NES version of this game, isn't he supposed to go to the volcano next? Sure, if you want to lose all that time. The most ideal way to get through the speed run, of course, is to get that ice cave first, get your floater stone, get your airship, and then fly later to take care of the Gurgu volcano trip. And while I was talking about that, Captain finally got through his Lich battle. Thank goodness.
Yeah, that is just another run under there, but you've now reached a lull of the game, so you can take this time, kind of reset. You know, you still got roughly an hour left of the game.
And absolutely anything can happen. All the fiends have the capability of killing you multiple times and taking out your party, especially the second round of those, which, spoiler alert, we do have to fight them multiple times, as well as the final boss, which, again, any one of them can cause any number of delays.
Yeah, the casino will forever be the casino.
Now, Preucheu is, like I said, taking these canals in his canoe. This is filled with a number of dangerous enemies, especially those white crocs, which can easily take either one of your mages out with one melee attack. But it looks like he is going to go ahead and take these because they are absolutely worth the experience points.
Yeah, I remember when I was commentating one of these, I asked, like, why did they take the singular white croc? They can just, go down like one Thundara, and they give really good EXP. So, like, EXP or gold. So, here we go. And we have now... Preucheu, I'm asking you, as a fellow runner, save some of the birds for the rest of us.
Yeah, it's incredible that he keeps running into these birds. I feel like you see them a little bit less here in the ice cave, but he seems to find them no matter where he goes. So the ice cave. Speaking of the ice cave, these guys are going to run through this thing as fast as possible to get to that floater stone at the end. This entire cave is filled with treasures, but being the speedrunners they are, none of them are really worth it. Except for maybe a few things to sell and a little bit of cash that they're going to need to stock up on spells and items later.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of cash found in Ice Cave itself. It all depends on how much time you want to lose for how much safety you want. You have swords, shields, you have just, I think, like 10,000 gil just sitting in a random treasure chest around here.
Yep, but I think at this point, if you want to be as expeditious as possible, you skip as many of them as you can. I think even personally, I just go with the 10K treasure chest and the one that has the ice shield to sell.
Fair enough, and that's not a bad idea. I know there's a sleeping bag in here as well. There's a you've got some flops in here. There's also an ether chest that's relatively on the beaten path. You might have to take a couple of steps to get it, but it's also very helpful.
There is a big troll chest in here. I believe the one to the right of the floater stone has enemies in it that you have to battle first, but I believe it's just a cloth armor. inside of there, or at least it was during in the NES version of the game. An absolute troll chest, even more of a troll in the NES version, as by this point in the game you have no more armor slots to hold any armor, so you tend to drop a piece of armor to pick up a piece of cloth.
Yep. And as we can see, one of the main things of this dungeon is the floor is lava, or at least spiky. So you gotta. It's not gonna hurt our runners all that much, but it is something to kind of keep in the back of your mind if you're a little bit low on HP. And I think there's that ether chest that he just kind of passed up. I think that holds like just a regular ether, which isn't a bad pick at all if you want to, save a couple of coins.
Cool little strategy that is easy to miss. Captain forced himself into a battle there by running back and forth in the ocean to take an easier battle in the ocean before going into the canal, where we said all of these characters or all these enemies can be dangerous. So he's doing a little bit of manipulation to try and avoid too many difficult or dangerous battles. Very interesting strategy.
Yeah, and it can save you time. I'm not like with Captain of the Dorks just dying a few times at Lich, you are probably feeling at least a little bit behind. Just due to the fact of who you're racing,
Oh, absolutely. You can't use too many safety strategies. Both of these runners know that the other one is very adept in the game and very capable of coming back and taking the lead with just a few simple mistakes or a few accidents or just some RNG that doesn't go your way.
If you're in the lead, you've got to think they're right on my heels, or you got to think you're behind just all the time. So. But we are seeing both runners with now different sets of RNG and what they're doing to overcome, and that's just so much fun to see, in my opinion.
Yep, and it looks like Preucheu is heading out of the ice cave just momentarily while Captain is running in. So they really are still pretty close, just a couple of minutes apart at this point. So anything is still able to happen.
Yeah, and we're seeing more Paizo demons and, more birds for Preucheu. But I think these are the mandatory birds. Maybe. No, he's just that lucky. Okay. Okay, fine. You win, Preucheu. Go take your birds.
Birds and mummies. That is his luck. That's the birds and mummies run.
I wish I had that. I wish I had that luck with birds. Here we have ice dragons, and
those
ice dragons can be scary, as you just saw.
Yep. If you allow them to get 2 of those ice storm attacks off, there's no way to really survive that at this point. Prior to obtaining some ribbons to lessen that elemental blow.
Yeah, and you're still in clothes, so. You're gonna be taking the more or less the maximum amount of damage from it. There's no.
So Preucheu on his way out of the ice cave. The next thing he's going to do is take that floater stone he just picked up. We're going to go get the airship, which gives him the capability of flying to the northern continents, which will be the next place he wants to go. There's a few different strategies you can use. There's a couple of things you have to do. One of those being those elixir potions and X potions that you have to pick up as a strat to combat chaos at the end of the game. You can pick those up directly after getting the airship. You could also pick those up at any point in time, even after the sea shrine. So we'll see what order Preucheu uses to pick those items up.
Yeah, and let's also, be completely honest as well. You also have your strength tonics, speed tonics, or giants tonics if you decide to pick up all 3 of those, which can also be a you know, should you miss them, a huge time loss. Yeah, kind of part of your airship shopping raid going on there. But now that Preucheu has the airship, overworld encounters kind of become a non-factor. You mainly have a handful of them left. So
in addition to progressing along in the game, fetch questing the items you need to progress, like you had mentioned, there are potions and other things that you need to pick up in preparation for your final battle with Chaos. They're just things you need to pick up along the way. Those elixirs, those X potions, the speed tonics, the Giants tonics, they're all things that are along this path that you have to stop to pick up. Like Preucheu going to the Dragon Isles now to pick up those the X-Pots and the elixirs, maybe a little bit of gold, in preparation again for the final part of this game.
Yep, and our D&D adventurers are now stealing from dragons. So you want to incorporate that into a D&D campaign? I guess have Bahamut fight them? I don't know. But there's another D&D idea. You got to go steal some treasure from some dragons, from a city of dragons.
We saw Preucheu jump into 2 of those islands. We'll see if Captain forgoes one of them, since he did get the X-Pot drop from the Lesser Tigers earlier. That'll be a small opportunity to make up a little bit of time here.
I wouldn't necessarily be against it. And I know Captain's comfortable enough with this run that, you know, he could go ahead, feel free to, and or heck, might even skip them all together and run with, like, you know, an X potion and an elixir. I know there are runners who will just go ahead, grab those 2 full heals, and fight Chaos. And now we are in Waterfall Cave for Preucheu, and we have the Ice Cave for Captain. Captain running the birds now. We kind of want to stop seeing the birds, but he does get mummies. And more mummies for Preucheu. Trying to get that pronunciation right. I've been pronouncing it so wrong.
Yep. So this cave here is one that can be a little dangerous. None of the enemies specifically are more dangerous than the gas dragon, which in a couple of turns can absolutely wipe your party. But the dangerous part about this time-wise is that this cave is one giant floor. So oftentimes you'll see runners do safety saves, quick saves along the way. The way that the Pixel Remaster works is if your party gets killed, it auto-saves at the entrance of the last floor that you walked onto. Because this entire dungeon is one floor, it will send you all the way back to the beginning. In the worst case scenario, it could be the 3 minutes you spent running through this cave, you could have that completely wiped by a gas dragon. So again, you oftentimes see runners use safety saves just to make sure it doesn't happen to them. And Preucheu also picking up all these treasures, mostly for selling. The robot there will hand you the cube, something to help you access the latter part of this game, and picked up a ribbon. So the ribbon is a great item. There are 3 in the game.
Do not sell it.
Yeah, do not sell it. When equipped, it will have the elemental damage you take from spells, which is huge when some of these enemies start really casting heavy AoE spells. And then also it helps protect you against the instant kill spells, which and any status ailments. So there's a number of great things that ribbon does, and all these runners are going to collect all 3 of them, equipping them on the characters that they leave conscious for the rest of the game.
Yeah, the ribbon's just such a good item and makes this run probably possible. Like, I would not want to see a run where you don't have any ribbons at all.
So like we'd mentioned before, Captain did not get the pickup, the haste pickup on his first go through Elfheim, so this is where he loses just a few seconds of time, stopping back at Elfheim to pick up the haste spell. I believe he had enough gil to purchase it on 2 of his mages, so there's a little bit of a safety strat there, that both of his mages are now equipped with the haste spell. And now that he has that, he's gone up to the Dragon Isles. He picked up one of those potions, and for safety, he's picking them both up. This is not a terrible strategy, to be honest.
Also
this
picking up
cave
that extra gil.
Has the extra gil, but if you have an extra potion, full heal potion, sometimes, you know, chaos can be chaos, and if you have just one more, sometimes just one more is enough to get you to the end of that battle.
Of course. Like, I know a lot of runners will use 3. But the more the merrier for full heal potions. And also Lukey just in chat just being like, 2 haste spells, you only need 1. So man will die upon that hill of only needing 1 haste spell.
So the other thing Preucheu just did, again, he jumped over to the vendor in the desert, picked up this ferry that you now see flying off to the north side of this town of Gaia, and instead of chasing that ferry, Preucheu is going to go ahead and take the time to pick up the final spell that he'll pick up. He'll pick up the Blizzaga. I think did he just pick up 1?
I think he picked up both.
Did he pick up both?
Yes, it takes a little more gil, but honestly, if you have the resources, right? Air elementals are weak to it. The white sharks he
picked up 1 because he still had 77,000 gil. He's loading up on his final purchase of items, and he still has a lot of gil left over. Did he just have a ton of gil, or did he just pick up 1 spell?
He did run into like a ton of mummies. Like, it seemed like every other encounter we were like, oh, there's more mummies for Preucheu. Oh, look, more mummies for Preucheu. Why does he keep running into mummies?
Well, another thing that happens here in Gaia is if you have the extra gil, like Preucheu does, you oftentimes see runners pick up things like protect rings or ruby armlets to help with the defense of your characters. I guess we'll kind of see. Like I said, maybe he just pressed it too fast and I didn't see it, but we'll definitely identify how many of those Blizzaga spells he got when he gets to the blue dragon. The blue dragon usually requires 2 Blizzaga casts.
Yeah.
There's no reason to save money at this point. There's nothing else you really need to buy after the Gaia purchase.
You never know. There could be the nuke spell coming out again. I've seen that happen before.
Well, unfortunately, they don't get to cast nuke, as you have to be a black wizard. If you guys are familiar with the mechanics of this game, there is an opportunity to go to the Citadel of Trials and upgrade all of your characters to new jobs or enhanced versions of their current job, and opening them up to a new set of spells, the advanced spells that they can use, a new set of armor and weapons that may not be available to them prior, but it takes too much time, and these speedrunners don't have time for any of that.
Not when they're this close. But we have seen a couple of Temple of Trials, a couple of rat tails given to Bahamut, and can't say that, you know, when I was commentating one of those races, that it was just it was insane.
Yep, so Preucheu is the first one to get to the Sea Shrine. The Sea Shrine has a couple of different pathways. He is now on the floor of mermaids, where he is going to pick up a diamond armlet, which is one of the best armors you can get for your characters, especially the ones that can't carry heavy armor. We'll see who he equips that on. And then he's also picking up this Rosetta Stone, the slab, if you remember it back in the NES days. And he's going to use that to learn a new language, so he can speak to a new group of folks in a new town to complete another fetch quest.
Yep. Why didn't they just... Like, I understand why they called it the Rosetta Stone, but why call it the Like, you could have named it anything. Why Rosetta Stone? I don't need that computer program on a rock. It's not how it works.
There may have been some sponsorship deal in there somewhere. It's Captain.
Don't know Spanish.
Captain finishing up with his purchase with the desert vendor. Hopefully he picked up the correct combination of potions that he'll need to defeat Chaos in the end. And then he is taking off for Gaia, where he is going to do his final shopping of the game and load up on all of the necessary spells, items, and potentially defensive armors that he might need. Captain in the chat, he is listening to me, and he got my underhanded comment with regards to his D-Rust run last night.
We know one of them's listening. We'll see how Speed Racer Captain goes. But one of the things about Sea Shrine here is that it's actually a really good spot to gain some EXP here. I would say this is the main area where you're trying to get your final kind of levels. You might get a couple in Tiamat's lair, but this is probably where you're going to be gaining your most of your levels.
Just like some of the other dungeons here, you're also trying to calculate which of these battles can I take out with a single cast, and which ones do I want to flee from. Those white sharks are going to take a couple of casts to get rid of. Not entirely worth the experience and the gold, and you don't really need gold anymore. The enemies you really want to take are those deep eyes. The deep eyes have an incredible amount of experience, even if they do take a cast or two when they're accompanied by a white shark. You still tend to see runners take those. But Preucheu feels pretty good about his level so far. His HP count is still in a really good spot. His monk is over 300. His mages are over 200. So by the time he gets to Chaos, he'll be in a pretty good spot.
Yep, and here we go. The hopefully last time we have to say there are more birds and mummies for Preucheu. So...
Yep, this is a forced encounter, though, inside of the treasure chest that gives him the Giant's Glove. One of the mechanics of this game is that there are a number of items that allow you to essentially cast magic for free. And the Giant's Gloves is one of those ones you want to pick up because it allows the user to cast Saber on himself, which is a physical melee boost to allow you to attack harder. So
it's a lesser temper, or a greater temper if you want to, depending on how you want to look at it.
It's better than temper, and it also pumps up your accuracy as well. But it's something that a non-spell caster can use to, like the monk, to increase his attack power. And you'll start to see once they get to Tiamat, the strategy turns to buff a tank and then release the tank to vanquish via melee. So we'll start to see that strategy unfold when we get closer to Tiamat.
Yeah. We could see it at Kraken. I've seen some players unstone the monk at Kraken, and it's a little slower, but it does help get you in the habit of tempering the monk, savoring the monk a little bit earlier. So
Yeah, I think you'll typically see the strategy of keeping him stoned, just so you again don't have to have multiple characters that you have to select options for. But also, Kraken is really not that bad. As I say it, he can be a beast, but Kraken only has two options.
Well, he's got ink.
Kraken 1 will either ink 50% of the time, which while you're casting magic means nothing, and then the other 50% of the time he's going to do a melee attack. The melee attack, again, it'll probably kill a mage, but you have 75% chances that it attacks your petrified characters. So it's probably a best bet to leave the petrification and roll the dice on that.
Yeah, true. But speaking of Kraken, though, Preucheu going right into Kraken, no fear. Question in chat here, and I do like this. Least favorite extremely least favorite encounter rankings at the end, for the refights to chaos.
I was going to say my least favorite encounter would probably be Warmech on the way to Tiamat. However, the penalty for failure there is really low since you're stuck on that bridge, and the game auto saves for you. But I'm going to go ahead and say, if we're going to eliminate chaos, because he's obviously the worst.
Yeah, he's the extremely least. Like,
hold on, Preucheu real quick is having a little bit of a struggle fest here with Kraken, because Kraken is meleeing his characters. Like we said, Kraken has that small chance, or sorry, a 50% chance to attack, but just a small 12.5% chance of attacking your mages, and he hit both of them. And luckily, Preucheu went the avenue of using a Phoenix down to revive him, because Kraken doesn't use AoE spells, so there's the chance that you could just revive him with 1 HP and he still be fine. So it took a little bit longer for Preucheu to get past Kraken, but he did survive it without a death.
He did. I think that was kind of payback for just that really good no reset lich.
Yeah, probably. But as far as my least favorite to extremely least favorite, it depends on the run. Usually my favorite, or the easiest one to get through, is going to have to be Kraken, of course. But on the refights, Tiamat 2 tends to be a gigantic pain. Lich, with his ability to cast nuke multiple times, is probably my least favorite. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Vane in chat knows that I've had issues with Lich 2 in the past.
Everybody's had issues with Lich 2.
I've lost runs to Marilith 2, which is the weirdest one. If she starts meleeing, she can be a real problem. So yeah, I've lost PB runs to every fiend there is. But if I had to crown the worst fiend, Lich gets the
so
crown.
mine will probably be like the easiest refight is probably Kraken, because it's just ink attack, and I think he gets to cast one spell. Then Marilith 2. Then Tiamat 2, because I'm just salty about Tiamat. Like, I know Tiamat 2 is not that different from Tiamat, but Tiamat 2 is pretty can be really difficult.
So they can both be equally cranky.
Yeah, and let's choose obviously the worst out of the 4 refights. Just nuke that's it. Nuke. Like,
yep, nothing like being on a PB pace and Lich deciding that he wants to throw 2 nukes at you. It happens. It happens to the best of us.
Yep. However, this is the final run, and as far as I know, we have not seen Warmech in this tournament. We've only seen it in the hype race. Will we get to see Warmech?
I was gonna say, I thought we saw it once, but it was the hype race that we saw it. So yeah, maybe we see a Warmech in this run. There's always the chance. And Captain attempting to run from these sea lobsters. the sea scorpions. Anytime you see a scorpion enemy, they are always incredibly powerful. They can hit really hard, and you're never wanting to have to chance it against them.
Yep. Nobody likes the scorpion encounters. Although I do like your name of just them being lobsters better.
I was trying to insult them at the same time. I really dislike them.
I mean,
Get it back to 7
like
and they can end it.
like theoretically that is like an insult for like a really weird reason that I can find, but it would take too long to explain. Hey, John, question for you in chat. Aren't they called lobsters in the original game?
I think they might have been. All of the individual enemy names don't always come to mind, but I believe lobster might have been one of them. They were limited on the number of characters they could use for the naming of all their enemies. So you often, instead of Grey Imp, you would see Grimp, or Groger for the green ogres.
Right. So does that mean like as much as it is confirmed that it was actually spelled like lobster, I kind of wanted them to leave the E off so that way it could just be like for alligator, where it's just like gator is just GATR because they ran out of spaces.
All right, so Captain now getting to Kraken. We're going to see him spam the Thundagas, and hopefully he has a little bit better luck than Preucheu did with those melee attacks.
Yep, there's that ink.
And while Captain is vanquishing that Kraken, Preucheu is already climbing up the tower towards Tiamat.
Yep. And Big Awesome Taco showing you why lobster was is an insult without me explaining it for 5 minutes, but it is a hashtag throwback diss. And here we go, the blue dragon.
Yeah, it looks like Preucheu is choosing to double cast Blizzaga with a single mage, because in fact I believe he did not pick up 2 of them. Which brings me to another question: if he only picked up 1 Blizzaga, why did he not pick up any ruby armlets or pro rings? I'm not sure.
Because it's Preucheu. He is one of the best runners in the game, and he don't need no ruby armlets in his life.
We'll see. We will see.
But we having a brush with death with those Black Knights, escaping by the.
Okay, so Preucheu now, he is in the floor in which he will find the very last ribbon of the game. There are only 3 in the game, and we only need to have 3, as when we get to Chaos, we will only have 3 characters conscious. So prior to fighting Tiamat, you'll see Preucheu relieve the monk of his petrified status, and then he will use the strategy we discussed earlier, where he's going to buff the monk and just tank him until they beat the fiend to death. But all 3 of them will have ribbons, and they will be resistant to status ailments and instant death, and take less elemental damage.
Right. So a couple of questions, as I don't know how long a chaos wipe is. But where do you think Preucheu lies in the amount of chaos wipes? And then another one from chat as well. Why do they cast double Blizzaga on blue dragons? I think it's because they resist fire and thunder, and those are the only 2 spells that we have at that point. And plus, Blizzaga is ever so slightly powerful than Thundaga, just because it's a higher level spell. At least that's what I think. And they're weak to fire. I did not know that. but I'm not exactly sure how that works. But how many wipes do you think? I would say like it's probably maybe a wipe or two, honestly. But here we are, 5th floor of the Flying Fortress, and we have no. We might have one more encounter. We might have one more encounter. Everybody, hope and pray that for the final race we get a war mech. And no. But here we go. We do see Preucheu swapping the monk there. That's. Oh, sorry. That is actually to make it so the monk is now in that 12.5% slot to get hit. So he's now able to survive more. But this is Tiamat 1. This is another big wall and run ender here. You can be prepared for Tiamat. And if Tiamat 1 decides you shall not pass, you will not pass. And Link over here showing his NES knowledge.
Oh, it looks like Preucheu took a death to Tiamat. This is just one of those opportunities where Captain can make up a little bit of time. They are both in the same dungeon, so the lead is shrinking. We'll see how this second attempt at Tiamat goes.
Yeah, like I said, Tiamat's a wall, and Tiamat is probably one of the more famous run enders. Because like Kraken and Merilith are jokes at this point. When you fight them, Lich can be a run ender, but Lich is also like the first major boss, and Chaos is Chaos, you know. With the casino being the casino.
Yep, and unfortunately, Preucheu loses a mage, not the end of the world, but at this point in time, they're trying to buff that monk up with a number of temper spells and Giant's Gloves to get through this battle, and it's close. Oh, he takes another hit. Luckily, he's getting some potions, and at this point, they're just gonna potion in melee until it's over. There we go.
So. What I like about this run in general is when I started out, my whole entire thing with Tiamat is I'm a bird, Tiamat is a wall. I'm gonna fling myself at the wall until the wall breaks. And I see that your question immediately is, but you are a bird. Why would you do that? There's your answer. A good runner like these two would end up taking like that first death and immediately trying to change their strategy. But I remember sitting here at one point facing like Tiamat like 7 different times and just not changing up my strategy because this is how I learned it. Instead of trying to throw high potions and stuff like that and just being able to watch these races, getting a lot more information about how to adapt and fix things. And that's one of the main things about this run is the good runners here know how to adapt quicker to their situations.
And that's what really this run is about. We talk about their speed and decision making, knowing what to attack, what not to attack, what to run from, how quickly you can input those commands. All of that is the skill necessary to expeditiously get through this game. But there's also, like I said, the RNG factor. What are the fiends going to do? What attacks are they going to do? So it's a combination of those things that make these players great and their ability to overcome when RNG causes trouble.
So the whole thing now is that we see Preucheu, forgive me, with at Merilith's and Mount Gulag, Mount Gulag. There we go. I can envision things on how I spell, to where the floor is lava is the main gimmick of the dungeon.
And
It took
the
2
floor,
minutes to say
floor
that.
being lava is actually in some points a good thing, because you cannot take an enemy encounter on the lava. So you'll see them running across that lava as much as possible. It does do a small amount of damage to their characters, and still advances the step count towards your next encounter. But it's more beneficial to delay that encounter using the lava, losing a little HP, just to get to where you want to go faster.
Yeah, and you did see Preucheu taking a couple steps on the lava in order to reset the encounter as you went to the next floor. And just like that, at Merilith.
At the same time, Captain coming up on Tiamat. So these runners are still not very far apart.
Captain, no, we want to see Warmech. No, Captain, go back. Nah, Captain's getting a move on, taking on Tiamat. But here we get to see Merilith. Everybody say hello to Merilith. And then to your right we can see Tiamat. Please pay more attention to Tiamat than Merilith, because Merilith is already gone.
Yep, Merilith. Usually, like we said previously, that Merilith is usually the second fiend you go to. So at this point, we're over leveled, and Merilith 1 is no obstacle. Usually a quick kill, and then the next portion of the game is a sprint back to the Temple of Fiends, to go back 2,000 years and refight all these fiends before approaching chaos.
So does that mean we're just the Avatar now? You know, when the world needed us most, we vanished for 2,000 years?
Sure. Oh, and Captain gets through Tiamat. Awesome. So at this point, they are about 4 minutes apart, which equates to maybe 2 or 3 wipes against a fiend battle or a chaos battle.
Yep. Let's be perfectly honest. Captain is still in this race.
Absolutely. A chaos battle can last 15, 20 minutes, depending on how chaos feels that day. I think we've all experienced a 2-minute chaos, and we've all experienced a 20-minute chaos. And when it comes during a tournament run, it's tough to watch, but it can happen. And we've seen it happen, and it was the chaos fight that determined the first 2 races of this final. The first one went Preucheu's way, the second one went Captain's way, and so chaos can pick a winner again today.
But honestly, I'm super excited just to see what goes on here, because you know, this might be like you said, 2 or 3 wipes to chaos, and that's you know, not unheard of here. Also, as a question to you, because you played the original, how much easier is the game now that you know you can't soft lock yourself in the Temple of Fiends?
I wouldn't say this game was ever simple. the NES had its own set of challenges just on the game mechanics alone. Not having high potions or ethers or Phoenix Downs, it made it a very, very different game strategy wise. And really, the Pixel remasters, while they did have all of that extra quality of life upgrades to include the ability to speed run or fast walk, and all the extra potions and so forth, they did make the fiends just wildly harder.
We also had diagonal walking.
Diagonal walking's a thing of the future.
Get off of my lawn with you and your fancy diagonal walking.
Oh, I'm definitely shaking a cane. Shaking a cane at it.
Meanwhile, we're over here getting the rock music instead of the 8-bit.
I mean, honestly, if anybody's unfamiliar with the original game, and the differences in the Pixel remaster, they did an outstanding job upgrading the music. It very much stuck true to the original soundtrack, but absolutely enhanced. It is a joy to listen to.
Most definitely. I remember opening up this game for the first time and just encountering that Wild Battle theme. And I just kind of spent like 2 minutes just, you know, vibing. But,
Still,
no,
still, I was gonna say, still anybody's fight. Captain is wrapping up Merilith, which for you old folks like me was Carrie in the original NES version, and so now Captain is going to, as fast as he can, fly up to the Temple of Fiends to put both of these runners in the same dungeon, the final dungeon, with 4 fiends and a chaos in front of them.
Yep, and here we are on the Lich floor for Preucheu. One of the things that I found really interesting, finding this out about the game, is that like each of the elemental fiend floors has kind of like the theme to it. So Lich was weak to fire, you could just go ahead and cast Firaga at all the enemies here, and you're most likely coming out on top 90% of the time. And then, but if you have not played the original game, I've actually seen a little bit of the original game. I do recommend you at least check it out, because the original game is still really cool, and you know what is it? The randomizers for this.
Captain now in the Temple of Fiends took a small detour in the wrong direction. He's back on track now. Just as Preucheu is now jumping into Lich 2, who has the capability to flare, which would be tough to see. There it goes! Trying to equalize its
There's the
match.
Duke.
Oh, and he's dragging it out.
Let's see
if Preucheu can get lucky. He's gonna buff and see if he can take Lich 2 out. Oh my goodness.
I'm not hating this. It's interesting. No, there we go.
He dragged it out. What a long death.
Lich played with his food. But no,
okay, attempt number 2. Let's see how this one goes.
Yeah, but getting back onto like the original game, I know that the randomizers for the original Final Fantasy game having seen a couple of them, are pretty fun to watch too. So
yeah, the original NES game still holds up pretty well. Like I said, there's fewer quality of life things in the game, which you just kind of have to get over and chalk it up to the fact that it's an NES game. But yeah, some of the things like buying one item at a time from the item shop, or the when you miss a melee attack, or if the enemy dies and you don't select a new enemy, or you didn't select a variety of enemies to attack, your characters will swing at the air. They will just miss.
Yep.
And Preucheu taking down Lich. He is 3 fiends and a chaos away.
Yes, and here we are on to the Merilith floor now. So we're going to see an upgraded version of that. And I don't know. This is still one of the easier fights. I've probably gone in here a couple of times without saving and just be like, I didn't save.
Oh no. Always quick save. Always quick save.
Nah. You live dangerously. You live dangerously like Captain over there. You know? Sell your ribbons. Don't sell your ribbons, please. Hashtag not speedrunning advice.
All right, so it looks like Preucheu is getting the buffs he needed. Again, Marilith is mostly dangerous when she's doing her melee attacks, as Firaga doesn't do much to a ribbon-equipped character. Marilith, if she does attack with all those hands and all those wrists and all those swords, she can deal some serious damage. But it looks like Preucheu is in the safe here, as all Marilith is doing. Marilith is only attacking that stoned fighter up there at the top, which again is our decoy, absorbing 50% of melee attacks.
It's a cardboard cutout. It's just very lifelike, apparently. And now we're onto the Kraken floor. A couple more chances to run into Deep Eyes if you want. But honestly, with the health of his monk at 373, you're not really looking for much more fights. Your health is pretty spot on. Really good health for Chaos. Both of them have really good health for Chaos for their monks, so even better.
Their monks seem to be in a good spot. Preucheu's mages both have over 200, which is really nice. Captain's mage is down at about 177, which is a little dicey for where you want your mages to be. Because again, if a mage can just hang on an extra round and get one more buff out, sometimes that can make all the difference.
Most definitely. So that is going to be a point to look at for Captain, but it seems like Captain is on the Lich floor as well. Hopefully Lich won't, flare him too or nuke him.
Captain is going full YOLO on his fleas over here. He is choosing not to revive his characters in the middle of that floor, and he's choosing to just trudge ahead until he gets to Lich 2. So hopefully his Lich 2 goes a little bit faster than Preucheu's did, so we can tighten this race up a little bit.
We will see here. There's a stop, so we're already good on that front. It's going to take about 2 turns of buffing for the monk. And now we have
simultaneous fiend battles, Preucheu on Kraken 2 and Captain on on Lich 2.
Yep. However, Preucheu is definitely on the easier of the 2 fights. But Captain
getting, oh my goodness, the nicest Lich
Captain said, hold on a second. He's on the easier of the 2? Let me show you real quick.
Yeah, that was an absolute gift of a Lich 2. That is awesome. That is the Lich 2 you want. You didn't take any deaths. You took minimal damage, and you were able to get out of that fight as quickly as possible. He's going to hope for the exact same thing on Marilith 2, while Preucheu takes down Kraken 2, only losing one of his mages.
Which at this point, losing a mage is like, like you're not really worried about it at this point. You've got your monk up. Your monk's throwing punches 24 times a second. He's better than any Taekwondo instructor could ever be, or judo, whatever you want to, any martial arts instructor. Basically the Luke Skywalker of punches.
All right, Tiamat 2, here we go for Preucheu. Let's see how nice Tiamat is. A Thundara is not the worst thing in the world to see. Again, we have ribbons on all of our characters, so elemental damage is really not bad. I know we saw a flare earlier from Lich. Flare is actually a non-elemental spell, which is why it does so much damage. The ribbons can't protect against it.
So here we go.
Oh no, a death to Marilith 2. Like I said, I've seen it happen, it can happen, and Captain, unfortunately, did not do a quick save before Marilith 2, so he gets to see all of these encounters on the fire floor over again.
And there goes the monk for Preucheu.
Yep. That's why.
Tiamat said we're making this race as even as possible right now.
Absolutely. So, while we're doing this, Preucheu opting instead of just go ahead and tanking the death, he's going to go ahead and revive the monk and try to buff him through this.
I mean, at this point, you've reached an hour 50 minutes. I think world record's like a high hour 40.
141 by Shigeru. He's got
okay. Oh, I gave him too little credit.
Shigeru is pouring and drinking an iced tea at this point with a
basically. But you're reaching 153, so you have to wonder, where your opponent is. This is the third race.
Oh, and Preucheu finally goes down. The Tiamat 2. He tried to pull it out. I mean, honestly, I gotta give him credit for trying to pull it out. He was doing his melee attacks with his monk. He was buffed. He was going for it.
Yeah, and can't fault him there.
Meanwhile,
thought you could get enough done.
Meanwhile, Captain taking another death to Merilith 2. I really hope he quick saved. There we go.
He did.
He learned, and he's got his quick save game on. While he attempts another Merilith 2. This is incredible. All of these fiend deaths. This goes to show you why this entire time we were saying, hey, they're a couple minutes apart, but this is anybody's game. The fiends can absolutely balance this out for either one of these runners.
Yeah, and it also just goes to show you that even though we state like Kraken 2 and Merilith 2 are the easier of the fiends, they still put up a fight here. And that is Tiamat 2 down for Preucheu, as CaptoftheDorks basically gets a simultaneous kill on Merilith 2. So
absolutely. So this means Preucheu, now that he has completed his 4 fiends, he gets to go see the casino boss. And Chaos, again, the same strategy we're going to see or have seen with the other fiends, except the first round of this battle. We bought all those Giants tonics a while back. The Giants tonic is a potion that temporarily gives you additional HP in the battle. So what we're going to see is the monk getting his HP raised as high as it'll go, and then giving him a full heal with one of those elixirs or X potions, and then just a crazy amount of buffing until that monk can attack for 4,000 to 5,000 HP per swing. Mm-hmm. At that point, it's just a race against time while Chaos tries to kill the monk.
Yep, it is definitely that. But turn 1 Kiraja, the best time to ever see a Kiraja. But we will see, because if Chaos decides to haste, that's a flare. That's not fun. That's a wipe.
It's also a flare before he was able to get those
to get fully healed.
The X-Pot off. Yep.
So one of the things that I will always state with Chaos though is that haste on Chaos himself is a turn neutral turn until he starts attacking.
Correct. I personally have seen Chaos haste himself, which again, he doesn't do any damage that round to you, but when he does attack you with a melee after hasting himself, I have seen as much as 1,100 hit points of damage, which no matter how much you heal and no matter how much HP you have, there's no defense against that.
Yeah. But if he doesn't attack you, it then becomes a turn negative, because that's basically a free turn. But we do see that we get the X-Pot off this time. So, always good to see. Putting up some speed drinks, some tempers, sabers.
So far, so good. We're getting those buffs off, and Chaos not doing any significant damage to anybody just yet.
We will all see.
And this is almost polar opposite of the Chaos we saw before. The mage is still alive after, what is this, the fourth round.
Yeah, this is
They have fully buffed the monk, and he is still alive.
Yeah, it's actually kind of crazy to think about, you know. And I mean, like, his screen's frozen right now, but we're gonna.
His screen is oh, so we're back now, and it looks as if you'd taken down both of the mages, but that's probably okay at this point because
oh yeah,
the fully buffed monk is doing 4,000 HP of damage.
This might be the end here, and there we go.
And that's it. 157.57. GG's to Preucheu.
Yes. GG's to Preucheu, as that was a very it was a very messy end, to put it in a way, because there was just a lot of the fiends being fiends, but overall a very, very good run, and still sub 2 hour, which is like you can't really ask for much more than that.
Absolutely. And Captain finishing up with Tiamat. He is going to see if he can't get lucky on Chaos and finish up there as Preucheu wraps up, and we'll see if he joins us here momentarily.
Yep.
But Preucheu, he is the champion of the field of many FF1 runners. He comes out victorious.
Yeah, we'll make sure we get him his Burger King crown. It's okay.
Oh, this is more than that. This is bragging rights until the next tournament, whenever that may be. Preucheu is on top.
Fair enough, and I'm sure there will be plenty of people who will look to upseat the winner from this tournament. I know, taking a look back on it in my habkainen, it was a relatively new runner and went 6-0 in the Swiss rounds. Like, he was undefeated in the Swiss rounds.
Yeah, but when you get to the playoffs, it's a different game. Preucheu shifted gears and put on his playoff hat and mowed through the competition during the elimination runs. As Captain gets into his first fight with Chaos, Preucheu is going to join us just a second.
Yes, and I'm honestly ecstatic to see. Let's hope that there's a good Chaos for Captain as well. And welcome, Preucheu, and congratulations on winning the tournament, and congratulations on the amazing run.
Thank you. Already. The run was pretty, I don't know. I never knew if I was ahead or not during the race, because the early game was difficult, and then I had some random death.
Yeah, those fiends did give everybody a lot of trouble.
Yeah, this one was a rough run with regards to how the fiends treated both of you. Both of you guys took a lot of deaths to the fiends. It was a really rough at the start. A lot of deaths just after Provoca, but you guys changed leads. It was so close at the very beginning. You guys changed leads 5 times before even getting through the Marsh Cave, and after that, you guys were pretty much neck and neck. For a good section of it, yeah, you overcame all the obstacles that fell in front of you to get to the top.
Yeah.
and like only for the what is it, 2-turn Chaos. Couldn't ask for much better than that.
Yes, it's really great. The last race I I think I did 22 or 23 minutes chaos.
Yeah, I remember it was game number 2 was an
Yeah.
incredibly long chaos for you, and you never know what you're gonna get when you run into battle with chaos. In that first battle, he didn't let you get too far. He hit you with the flare before you were even able to X potion your monk. But that second chaos was a gift. That was incredible.
Yeah. It was like the perfect
That chaos was just so good. Also,
I decided who we wanted to win.
Preucheu,
Yeah.
I ask that you share the luck on your birds, please. Some of us
yeah.
other runners need birds.
Yeah, there's a mage that got eaten multiple times and never got stoned. Yeah, I was really lucky on on my birds.
Yeah, I think after your run, we're gonna go ahead and rename the Earth Cave just Preucheu's Jerkbird and Mummy Emporium.
Paradise.
Yeah.
Hey. Yeah.
So looks like Captain is having the chaos battles that the rest of us tend to have when we face off with chaos, and this one gets absolutely roasted with a slow. For those that aren't familiar with the mechanic, when you lose haste, it absolutely destroys the amount of damage you can do. So as a recovery, Captain is hoping that he can get a haste off here to keep his monk buffed.
Here we go. He was actually able to get the slower, so he does have the haste back.
Very, very lucky there. So now we'll see if he can continue to buff his monk to a point where he can start attacking.
Yep, and it's looking like it's getting there.
It always is until it ain't. I don't know who said that, but
I mean, let's also remember he does have that extra full heal in his back pocket.
Oh, did you crash?
it looks like we've had a few screen
hiccups, freezes.
Yep.
Oh.
But everything has been able to eventually catch up.
Yep, I've checked his personal stream. He's still rolling.
All right. Gotta take. Lukey's just over here like, I gotta take out the cartridge, blowing it, and plug it back in.
So, Preucheu, what are we gonna do with this title? I think we need to absolutely have something in Discord here to crown you as champion of this tournament. You now have the bragging rights over a large portion of a number of these Final Fantasy 1 speedrunners that are at the top of the leaderboard. You have come out on top.
Yeah, I don't know what's doable on the Discord, but
We'll just change his name in the Discord to have a little crown next to it.
Oh, that
Or-
would be nice.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have a mod find a way to do that. Oh, it looks like we got the screen back, and yeah, it looked like Captain took a death there. His mages are now alive, and
there goes the monk.
And the monk goes down one more time. Chaos is not having any of this. So,
Chaos said I was already nice today.
Yep, looks like we're gonna see another battle with Chaos.
Unless we can buff the black mage up enough, maybe. Is he actually doing that? Oh, sad. I thought he was actually going to do it for a second. Swapping it around, changing up the RNG a little bit. Got to do something, right?
You get to believe.
we can definitely see like how much chaos can dictate a run here. Wait. Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing?
Yes.
Uh,
Well, maybe.
Captain, I was joking. You didn't actually have to do it. Captain. Oh, Captain, my Captain. Don't egg him on, Steve. Like, I don't actually know how to... The one time that... I'm lost for words. I really am. I guess we'll see a Black Mage punch down... Chaos here. That's 600 damage. That's not bad. For okay, there we go. All right, let's go back to the monk. Go back to the monk. This is the commentator from the future. Yeah, Chaos just not being friendly at all here.
Oh goodness, I had to step away momentarily, but Captain, oh goodness, Captain is still.
You missed the Black Mage trying to punch down Chaos.
Oh, we always like that. You always love to see a good underdog battle. It's a Shadow of the Colossus moment.
We got to 600, and then we died.
So it looks like he's able to get some buffs off here. He's got his monk up to health.
There goes one Black Mage, but we don't necessarily... There goes the other Black Mage. I mean, I've sent it 2k before. There's a flare.
Right, so still getting his buffs off. He does have that extra elixir, so it could come in handy.
It will always come in handy just to have that X potion drop from the Lesser Tigers. 38. That's not bad.
Let's go.
I think he's sending it here, so we'll
that was close. That was close.
And there's that
no.
paste.
There we go. Come on, one more.
Okay. And there we go. Chaos is down.
What a ride! Oh my goodness! But we've all had this chaos before. It is hard, hard to watch.
And you're sitting here and you're going against the same boss 7 times, and there just becomes a point where you're as much invested in this as the runner is. So you're sitting like we're both sitting there just like, come on. Trying not to talk all that much and give commentators curses out.
And we'll give Captain just a minute to jump into the chat and get his feelings on how that chaos fight went.
Yeah, we
Hey, Captain.
Captain,
That chaos fight, man.
welcome.
Hello.
And congratulations on the run.
Thank you. Yeah, that was just blah.
Well, like both of you had messy endings because let's be honest, the fiends were not nice this time around.
Yeah, I mean, it was just basically Preucheu's run, I think, from last time I got. So it was
Yeah.
just our back and forth. So really, the first race, which was super close, determined it all, which is it's kind of funny. But GG Preucheu, man. Good job,
Yeah,
man.
thanks, GG to you. And yeah, this race seems to be the reverse second race.
Yeah, that Lich, I think, just basically killed any chance. But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, that lich death hurt you guys. I mean, you did spend some time crawling back there, but it was really the fiends that did damage to both of you guys. I mean, it was just every fiend in that Temple of Fiends. I think Tiamat for Preucheu and Lich, and then for you, Marilith. I mean, that's when you see that, you just hate to see it.
Oh boy, yeah, just one punch away, and then she decides to just sock the monk in the face. Doesn't feel good.
But either way, this was an outstanding finale, even though it included all the RNG that we hate to see. The entire tournament and all of the battles along the way were incredibly entertaining, to include this race itself. So GG's to both the runners. I look forward to seeing you guys do this again whenever the next tournament pops up. And with that, any closing thoughts from Captain?
Yeah, just happy to be here. I didn't expect to get this far. I mean, going in against Preucheu, I didn't expect to even get a win off here. So I feel pretty good. And
I mean, both of you are amazing runners. Like, let's be honest with that. This was really fun to watch.
Glad to hear it was entertaining.
Thank you.
But yeah, other than that, GG Preucheu, thank you all for commentating and everybody for watching. Hope to see you next tournament where we'll be back for the title, you know?
Yeah, I'll be there. And thanks a lot, Jeff, to you, commentators, and every commentator during the tournament. And thanks for the organization. And see you on the next tournament.
No, thank you to each runner who decided to come out, for everybody who decided to participate in this tournament, for those who wanted to commentate. Thank you for Trenton to kind of put this all together. This couldn't have been done without him. And thank you to SpeedGaming for hosting us as well. If you would like to see more Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster, feel free to follow the runners as well as us, the commentators. Other than that, you've got anything final to say, John?
Nope. I just really enjoyed the entire tournament from start to finish, and I absolutely look forward to more of them in the future, as well as all the other races you see on SpeedGaming. So until next time, thanks to the viewers, and we'll see you next time.